Welcome back to Heart to Head with Olivia and Jessica.
Hey guys, I almost said sup, but I changed it halfway through.
I was waiting for you to say it. I was like, she's going to say sup, and then I'm going to have to go, what's up?
Considering the fact that this episode is literally something that you're floating over, I feel like sup might be a little too casual for how excited we are for this topic, for Olivia's sake.
So excited about this episode because this is literally my favorite thing to talk about. This is what got me into life coaching. This is what got me interested into psychology. This is what helped me start to understand other people and expand my thinking wider than my perspective and my point of view. I love it. I'm so excited.
I just want to tell the folks at home, literally, when I met this girl, I think it was one of our first conversations. And you were like, so like, have you ever like looked at any sort of like framework or like any sort of like test that you can take to really sort of pinpoint what you're thinking about? And I remember laughing because growing up with psychiatrists, it happened all the time, regardless. But it makes sense for being heart to head. We are having this is going to sound weird, and now I don't want to say it, but we're having a very head episode today.
What have you referenced it as before? You say it's a, quote, heady topic. That's what you said before in previous episodes. You're like, this is going to be a little heady.
But like just saying like it's going to be a head episode just sounds a little naughty.
So wrong.
We already sort of started it, so let's get into it.
What is this that you're talking about? It's actually, since we haven't actually said it, we're just alluding around to it.
We're just like talking about it.
So this episode is going to be framework. So basically personality tests, anything that has to do with a theory that society and people fit under certain categories for whatever purpose of the test. So in this instance, we're going to be talking about love languages. We're going to be talking about Enneagrams. We're talking about the Gallup CliftonStrengths and Myers Briggs. And so those are just a few of, obviously millions of different personality tests, but these, and especially like the Myers Briggs and the love languages, those were the ones that I started with. And then the Gallup CliftonStrengths, I've probably known about for the last like 10 years. It was actually interesting. I actually retook that one about 2 or 3 months ago, and they had changed slightly, which that was interesting. And then the Enneagrams, I just discovered last year and just fell in love with them because I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This makes so much sense because the Enneagrams is based off of the concept of like in childhood, you gravitate towards one of the 9 personalities. And that's what influences your thoughts, your feelings, your behavior. So I found that so relatable. And it was actually really interesting because with the Enneagrams, I had my entire family take it because this is how excited I was. It's literally, I read the book and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And so immediately texted my mom, my sister, and I was like, I need you guys to take this test within the next day because I need to know what you are. And so then I had them take this test and I was like, this makes so much sense because all 3 of us are completely different in which triad we're in, what our number is, how we see things. And so it was like, oh, this is why we're constantly like, my mom would say, oh, well, we should do this or we need to be prepared for this. And I'd be like, no, we don't need to be prepared. My sister's like often, la, 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 la. So we're just seeing things completely separately. And I was like, oh, this makes so much sense that it's like, okay, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm not going to get on that level with you because I just don't see it that way.
What brought you to wanting to do framework?
It was actually my mom. My mom was the one because she's always been really interested in like psychology and stuff like that. So it was just like the books that she had around. And then I started reading them, which I think the first ones had to do with, it was the love languages. Because my mom's always about like, okay, well, let's figure out what we are so that we can help each other. So that was the basis of it, is for us to understand each other so we could help each other in our family dynamic. And so love languages and the Venus Mars books were actually the first framework books that I was exposed to. And, I really liked the concept. Like it was interesting. Just the love languages are how we receive and how we feel love. And there's 5 different love languages. There's words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. But within those love languages, there can be more than one dialect. So like quality time, because I'm quality time, that's my top one. So of course, like I know all about it. But quality time, there's quality conversation or there's quality activities. And then with, physical touch, there's intimate or non-intimate. And with words of affirmation, there's words of appreciation, words of encouragement, words of praise, words of kindness. So there's different versions within those 5 categories, but it's just really interesting to know, okay, we normally give out what we want to receive. Growing up, I was constantly giving out quality time. I was like, okay, I want to spend time with this friend, or I'm going to do this with my family or whatever. And that's how I showed appreciation. But if I wasn't receiving it in return because I didn't know how to ask for it, then I was still feeling left unfulfilled and left empty because I was like, well, I'm giving them time and I'm wanting to have like deep conversations with them and just they're not doing that in return. So they must not love me, and just not realizing that that was what I need to ask for. I'm putting that a priority over other things of just literally saying, hey, I know that you like giving me gifts because that's what you want, but I don't need gifts because I frankly don't give a rat's ass about gifts because gifts is literally every time I taken the test over the last 10 years, gifts is always at the bottom in numbers that I think like 1 through, I don't know, maybe 15 or something. I don't know the highest. I think the highest I've gotten is 11 on anything, but gifts has always been like 0 or 1. Like it's at the bottom of my 5. Like it's never been up there. So when people give me gifts, I'm like, okay, that's nice. Like really, I'd rather us like go grab dinner and like have a deep conversation or literally just sit at home and talk. And that like completely does it for me more than you giving me a gift.